Hello, and welcome to another episode of 9 to 5 Nerds with Robert Swathwood and Katrina Swathwood.
Hello.
I've got a cough. Oh, yeah. That was something stuck in my throat right away. We're back. If you listened to last week's episode, you listened to two rambling, buzzed, drinking people, which hasn't happened in a long time, but it's been some rough weeks. So,
and they're continuing.
Well, I mean, it's for everybody. I don't want to keep on coming on here and be like, it's rough for everybody. Everybody knows it's rough for everybody. And we're luckier than most. So we're just going to dive right into stuff. I have a hodgepodge of several topics that I'm looking forward to speaking about. We're going to end with the Falcon and the Winter Soldier because I feel like that, we just watched it. I feel like that's going to be the most of what we're going to talk about this episode.
Okay, that's fair.
I apologize for the rambling, thoughtless, couldn't keep one thought connected to another thought finale of WandaVision that we did. But I'm not going to make you sit through another explanation of the finale of us while we're sober. But I hope you enjoyed. I was right. I was trying really, really hard to keep my mind on one thought.
What, last time?
Last time, yeah.
Oh.
And I was not able to.
Well, that happens.
Yeah, it happens. So if you...
That's me on a daily basis.
If you listen to that, that was drinking us.
Drinking us.
But no, I have three topics I want to talk about.
Okay, what's first?
We recently watched Judas and the Black Messiah.
Yes.
I don't want to talk about that tonight.
Oh, okay.
That's why I'm bringing it up.
That's why I'm talking about it.
No, I wanted to partner it with another Oscar movie, and we can watch another one this weekend, and then we can talk about two Oscar movies. Because if you haven't seen, the Oscar nominations are up, and
they're in April.
There was Judas and the Black Messiah got nominated for several things, including
two for Best Supporting Actor.
We'll get into that when we talk about the movie.
Okay,
because
moving on.
Yeah. I saw a couple different things that I wanted to talk about. Last being Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Okay.
Second to last being my conflict I'm having with the idea of watching the Justice League movie.
Okay.
But the first was something kind of that caught me off guard. And I don't know why it should have caught me off guard, but I mean, over the last, 5 years, how many reboots or relaunches or ideas of things relaunching have we seen? I mean, we saw Will and Grace come back.
Okay.
Frasier,
are you talking about like the original?
Yeah, I'm saying it's not a reboot, it's a revitalization maybe. It's a reunion type thing.
Okay.
It's weird. We're getting a lot of that. I mean, I know Futurama did in the past and Family Guy came back after being canceled. But we got Will and Grace, Frasier's coming back.
Is it really?
Yeah, I think it's coming to Peacock. Like it's going to be an exclusive on Peacock. So you're
kind
seeing
of how
a lot
like
of
Saved
stuff.
by the Bell is exclusive on Peacock.
Yeah, Saved by the Bell came back.
Okay.
Punky Brewster's coming back. Did you see that Soleil Moonfry said her first consensual sexual partner was Charlie Sheen?
I did see that.
Weird.
Yes.
Weird. We won't go down that weird road.
Are you interested in watching that documentary though?
The Punky Brewster one?
90 Kid.
Is it about her?
It's about all the video recordings that she made in the 90s with all people that we grew up watching.
I don't think so because I never watched a single second of Punky Brewster.
It's got nothing to do with that.
But I'm not even familiar with her other than her name.
So
I mean, maybe.
She knows everybody. Like we've got Saved by the Bell people.
Yeah, I know she still is, I believe, close friends with Mark Paul Gosselaar.
Right. So there's a ton of people that we know that would be in there.
I will give it 2 episodes.
Okay. That's fair.
And I think if you're not interested in
that's
something.
That's going to be like on the long list of things that we still have to watch that we haven't watched yet.
Yeah. I need to get caught up on Mr. Mayor. I know it's goofy and it's a silly show, but I enjoy it.
But you can watch that when the kids are up.
Yeah, I like that show. But no, with all these revivals, that's what it's called, revival.
There you go.
Revival. There's a rumor of a King of the Hill revival coming.
Really?
Yes, that takes place 15 years into the future.
So like Bobby's done with college?
Well, Bobby would have been well done with college back then if he went to college. But I
Are
wanted.
you saying Bobby wasn't going to go to college?
I don't know if that was his destiny.
How dare you?
Why?
Poor Bobby. Don't put him down.
Oh
like
no,
that.
I wouldn't do that. I felt like he found his calling at the end of the show. He he was funny enough, I think he stumble upon a college course for like meat grading or it was something related to meat, and they found out that
grilling, right?
He was really good at identifying proper cuts of meat and stuff. And he found that connection with his dad, that they were both enjoyed grilling, and they finally, after all these seasons of them not getting each other,
have something together
and not understanding each other, they finally had something together. But I thought that it would be interesting to see where you thought some of these characters would be 15 years later.
Okay.
I'm assuming Bill's dead.
Dauterive?
Yeah. Bill's
Either
dead.
he was murdered by some wife, or
he fell into some Ponzi scheme and got killed
or he
for
fell
money.
in a hole.
Or I don't think Bill was long for this world.
Yeah, he is a gentle, kind soul.
I was texting with Brian a little bit about this, and some of these are his ideas and some aren't, but he said Dale would be divorced. I think that...
And she ran off with Redcorn?
Yeah, I think she would run off with Redcorn because
Okay.
that's who made her happy. I mean, and I know there were instances where she stopped seeing Redcorn because she wanted to stay with Dale. Side note, the man who does Redcorn's voice, who's in Parks and Rec,
Yeah.
everybody's like, if somebody narrated my life, it'd be, all these different people. Usually it's Morgan Freeman or anything like that.
Okay.
If somebody was to narrate my life, I want him to do it. I love his voice.
Doobie doo.
Doobie doo. I what, like Firewater? That's racist. Oh, he's so good in Parks and Rec, but I just, something about the way he speaks, I really enjoy listening to him talk.
I think he does it for fun. Like, it's not even like a...
And his...
oh, this is my work. No, he's like, no, this is fun.
Yeah. And it really comes off that way.
Right.
So I would like to see... I mean, I don't know how Boomhauer would probably be retired. We found him at the end of that
He's
he
a
was a marshal.
You don't think he could like the big time and do like
Maybe.
Secret Service or...
Maybe. But I would be interested to see how Hank would deal with society today and what's going on. Which led me to, when I was texting Brian, I want to preface this by saying that I consider myself an ally, and I try to be as knowledgeable about stuff as I can.
Okay.
But I am still uninformed and about certain things. And I want to say, from what my understanding is, I think that eventually Bobby would discover that he's non-binary. Is that the proper term? Not feminine, not masculine. Because I never got a feminine or masculine or anything from Bobby. He was just Bobby.
Right.
And I texted that to Brian, and he's like, I don't know. And I'm like, well, I never saw him as...
He never tried to fit into any specific gender role.
Yeah, and I kind of... it's almost like the sister from Bob's Burgers, who was originally a male.
Tina?
Yeah, Tina was originally a male in the pilot, and they made her female, but they kept the same voice.
Okay. Tina's one of the best parts about that show.
Butts. We want to watch that show in years.
No, we haven't.
But that's got a weird following too.
Oh, it does.
It's got strange following. But I don't know why, and I don't know if you agree with me or if anybody would agree with me, but I kind of felt that way about Bobby.
I would agree with that. Like, and he is also like the oddball, not in a bad way. Like,
I wouldn't say odd. I would just say he was different.
Okay, that's fair.
He kind of fit in and didn't fit in everywhere.
Because he was with Khan Jr.
Yeah. But I mean, being with somebody doesn't necessarily define.
No, that's not what I mean. But what I meant by that is he didn't take this specific road that you would normally expect a straight white man to take.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And with having the household that he grows up in with, his dad and his mom, which are both crazy.
Yeah.
So,
well, can we agree on who the worst character in that show is?
Peggy.
Peggy is by far the worst character in that show.
She's the person on the bus that, is making everybody crazy and doesn't realize that she's the crazy person.
Yeah, I can never stand
She's
Peggy.
Ted on that bus ride.
Yeah. And you know what's funny is the person, I don't hate a lot of people, and I won't dive into who this person is, but there's a person that I came across in my life that I absolutely despised.
Okay.
I thought they were the fakest, one of the worst people I've ever met.
Okay.
I won't go into who it is, but that person's favorite character on King of the Hill was Peggy. And that just doubled down on the fact that, yeah, this person's a really shitty human being.
Like, does she
That
actually
wasn't the
finally
reason.
learn how to speak Spanish? Like, that would
I don't know.
like, she's supposed to be a teacher.
Like, I disliked her more than I disliked Cotton, and Cotton was terrible.
Oh my God.
But he died in the show, so I mean, he's not around.
So what about Lucky and
Luann?
Luann.
Both of them are dead in real
Yes,
life.
they are.
Yeah, I don't know.
So
I don't know if
they
this,
take like a crazy trip somewhere and just never came back.
maybe. I don't know if this is actually happening, but I feel like if it happened, it would have to focus on Bobby, and everybody else would be side characters.
Okay.
At least that's what I would hope.
Does he inherit his dad's difficulty conceiving children?
Maybe as a narrow urethra. Is that what it was? Huh?
Yes.
And I just found it interesting, and I started thinking about where those characters would be 15 years later. I don't know.
I have no idea. That's interesting.
It's interesting to
Did
think
Con
about.
Jr. stay, or did she go off to like fancy college?
Maybe she would. Maybe Bobby went off to fancy college, and Con Jr. started selling propane.
There you go.
That'd be interesting.
That would be interesting.
I do like the turn that Con and Hank end up being like close friends.
Right.
After
After warring for
yeah.
so long.
I like one of the things that they all had their own. Didn't they all have their own iced mug at the end of it, where they drank beer out of?
I
at
think
Hank's house?
so. They're etched glasses.
I really like that. But no, it's fascinating to me. I can't think of another show that I'd really like.
Does Dale end up in a bunker under the ground because the government's really coming
Dale's
to get him?
gone. Dusty Shackelford is the only thing around now. Rusty Shackelford, not Dusty. In these people, what show would you be okay being revived? I know everybody's first one is Firefly because it got one season, but I'm talking about something that lasted long enough to be okay on its own, but you want to see where those characters are today. I don't care about Friends. I don't care about a Friend revival at all.
Okay.
I don't need to see that.
Well, I got a couple with the X-Files, and that was pretty fun.
Yeah.
That went away, and then it came back.
You stopped watching when we had that Rise Darby episode.
And then, yes. And there's always that one episode per season that's like kind of kooky
Yeah.
and funny, and I'm just like, no. It was every time I was like, no.
Kind of takes you out of it, right?
Yeah. It totally takes you out of it.
I know that they tried for a second to, Scrubs ended and then they brought it back for
New
that season and it
class.
was terrible. But, there's some of those characters I'd like to see what they're doing now. No? I'd like to see how Turk and Carla are doing or
Okay.
Jiggy and
Do their kids ever really, get
Yeah.
together in the future?
No, I mean, they're older now. I don't know. The Office would be kind of cool to see like maybe a couple hour episode specials to see where the characters are now.
Where they ended up?
Yeah, how Jim and Pam are doing in Austin
Oh, with the merger and
Yeah.
everything? Yeah.
and you don't need it with Parks and Rec because they did the time jump and
They
you
did.
saw and that was really good.
It was.
But there's not most things are done and they're done and I'm not really
Upset about it? And that's my
Oh,
thing.
Hannibal. I would take more Hannibal.
That would be interesting.
It started flying off the rails a little bit.
It did.
But I really enjoyed that show.
Supposedly American Gods got good, and we kind of
Fell off with that.
fell off of that
Well, it's hard when it's bad.
out of the gate.
And it had its moments. Like I really like some of the characters, but
I did too.
But it wasn't very good.
No,
And I can't believe it's on its like third season.
it is, and it's doing really, really well. So maybe someday in the future I'll have.
That's
to
something we can
pick
jump back
that
on,
up.
and you can basically binge it because there's 2 seasons out now.
Yeah, but then I gotta pay for that service, and I really don't want to do that right now.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
I'm already paying for one. I'll keep that. But no, it's a show. I don't know. I think that's probably my problem is I'm okay with things ending. A lot of people aren't.
Oh, I'm actually excited about the Dexter revival because it's a short. I think it's going to be one short season. And it's kind of fixing
The problems.
I'd be interested in that because
It ended horribly.
Yeah, it did. But the seasons of Dexter that were good were some of my favorite pieces of television.
Nip Tuck. That might be something I would go back to see where all them.
Yeah, but I mean, I feel like that. Like Christian was still going to go on with doing plastic surgery, and his
Right.
partner was going to go fix people in Africa, wasn't he?
Pro bono, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, that kind of. I don't know.
Well, like what happens when he gets back after doing all this free work?
Maybe he doesn't come
out of
back.
the country. You don't think so?
I don't know. Maybe he didn't. He seemed to want to atone for a lot of stupid shit he did. I mean, they killed people.
I liked that show.
Rome would be good to come back. That was like the first big epic thing that they had.
That was so good.
Yeah. I think that set the stage for Game of Thrones, to be honest.
We never finished Banshee.
I want to just start from the beginning, though.
I agree with that because we know the first 3 seasons are great.
Yeah, they're so good. No, but it was just something I wanted to talk about. Next order of business.
Moving on.
How do you feel about watching this Justice League thing? It came out yesterday. It's 4
know.
hours.
Like, I already gave them my time and my attention. And there's so many other things that I want to... Like, there's movies that I've wanted to watch for, like, 3 years. And I still haven't watched them.
Name one.
3 Billboards.
Okay, knew that was going to be
Tonya. Like, those are the 2 top movies that I've still had on my list that I really want to watch that just haven't happened.
Yeah. It's hard sometimes.
No, it is.
We're super busy.
I know. And I don't want to bog you down with dramas all the time because...
I enjoy dramas, but it is literally all that we watch as far as movies go.
Okay.
And the thing is I think right now it's because good dramas are constantly coming out.
Right.
Where when was the last time a good comedy came out?
I don't know.
Or a good action movie. Or sometimes I just want to check out and I don't want to think.
Would you consider Palm Springs a comedy?
Yes, that was a dark comedy, which is my favorite kind of comedy.
Okay. Well,
absolutely, it was a comedy.
We haven't watched The Hustle, which we should.
I sometimes I want those movies and they're hard to find right now.
Yeah. Well, because right now it's so depressing. It's easier to create
That's why they
like
should
that.
be making stuff that cheers you up. But it's not even... I'm going to dive into this.
Uh-oh.
There was a very, very toxic fan base behind the Snyder Cut. I have a lot of people that I respect that I saw online getting absolutely bullied on their views in this, and people would harass them, people that write these characters and draw these characters for a living.
Wait. Why are they getting bullied? Like, what's happening? Like,
there was just a toxic, they give us the fucking Snyder Cut. Why are you not giving us the Snyder Cut? Blah, 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 blah. And if anybody commented, it's fuck you, death threats, and blah, 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 blah. It was really toxic. And as big of a tragedy as the situation with Zack Snyder was, and the reason he left it, do you know why he left?
I can't remember.
His daughter committed suicide.
Okay. So he packs it up and goes home.
And
because he should.
Yes, absolutely. You need to be with your family. 100% respect that. That's an absolute tragedy. Joss Whedon comes in, doesn't finish the movie the way he wanted to, and then it was released the Snyder Cut. Well, there was no Snyder Cut. They gave him $70 million to continue filming his vision, so you weren't recutting your own footage. You were filming a new movie.
You mean they gave Joss Whedon?
No, they gave Zack Snyder $70 million to do reshoots to create his vision of this movie.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
So there's that.
Just for fun?
To release the Snyder Cut because it was a big deal. But there was just so much toxicity behind it, and it's basically, and I'm going to watch it. I just have this conflicting part of me that says, that it got done is showing what cyberbullying can get you. And it's rewarding that.
Are they going to make their money back?
No.
So who made that fucking decision?
I don't know.
Like, if I was on a board of directors and someone's like, yeah, let's give this guy $75 million to finish. Fuck you, man.
It's probably because
the movie is over.
The toxic people that were clamoring for it were very loud online, and they thought maybe they'd get more downloads of HBO Max. I don't know.
No, they're just going to freaking steal it and not pay you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why?
So I'm kind of at odds.
Isn't that the purpose of us teaching kids? Like, you can't just stomp your feet and cry when you don't get what you want.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what
Grow
it is.
up.
And it's just got a lot of ties with this. I don't even want to say his name. There's this guy in the comic book industry who's still clinging to life, but he's homophobic, racist.
Oh, well, he's on his way out.
And he's been doing this openly for years.
Well, I'm just saying it's getting more and more
But he has a following.
Which just speaks more.
It's disturbing. And he was part of that, and it's just it's I'm gonna watch it, but I have this like, first of all, how many good movies has Zack Snyder made?
I don't know.
I enjoyed The Watchmen, but most people didn't.
Well, I liked the content. That's why I enjoyed it.
300, it had its moments.
It was filmed really, really well.
But you can only do that so much, and all of his movies follow the exact same formula of really slow motion stuff.
Action, yeah.
His favorite movie of mine is Dawn of the Dead. He did the Dawn of the Dead remake.
That was a good movie.
And he's got this weird zombie movie coming out with Batista in it, and I want to watch it. But
you watch anything with Batista
his stylized movies are just, they're not that good. So I've seen...
like, if I watch it again and it's still shit, like, I'm going to be pissed.
And that's part of it too. And I've seen extremely conflicting reports. I've seen people saying that it's excellent. And I've seen people that saying it's more dog shit. So
it's probably more dog shit.
What's okay about it is, I guess, it's broke up into 4 parts, so you can watch an hour at a time. So you don't sit there and watch for 4 hours.
Okay.
It's 4 hours long.
So he put in intermissions.
Multiple.
Welcome to the play.
I think it's just broken up into episodic form because it is so long. So you can watch it like a miniseries instead of a movie.
In a straight shot?
Yeah. But that's I want to throw my views out there. I don't know who agrees with me. I know some people do, because this whole Snyder released the Snyder Cut thing was hot garbage. And if
This is Warner Brothers, right?
Yeah.
Well, Warner Brothers, I hope you make your money back, because if you don't, someone needs to be fired.
I'm more excited about Godzilla and Kong and Mortal Kombat.
That'll be fun.
You saw the original Mortal Kombat, right?
Yes.
Not a good movie.
No.
And everybody's like, it's the best video game movie, and Al and I were talking about it. It's not good. You might like it for nostalgia purposes or the soundtrack. It is not a good movie. I will die on that hill. It is not a good movie. I may have enjoyed watching it, but it's not a good movie.
You can still have fun watching bad movies.
Yeah, like I just said earlier, sometimes I just want to check out and watch, a mindless action movie or something's going to make me laugh.
Guy's head just get ripped off.
What?
What?
Whose head got ripped off?
Isn't that like in Mortal Kombat? Hello.
Oh.
Come on.
Yeah, I guess it is.
Jeez.
But this new one actually looks pretty good. I thought it looked entertaining. Maybe that it won't be good, but it'll be entertaining. That's a movie that's coming out that's just going to be entertaining.
There you go.
That and Kong. I'm Team Kong.
Yes, you are.
Yes, very big Team Kong. But no, and lastly, I wanted to touch base on Falcon and the Winter Soldier since we just watched it. It is... I feel like it's the first... Because last year we didn't have any Marvel stuff. I feel like it's the first Marvel thing to come out, really, because WandaVision was not very Marvel. I enjoyed the hell out of that show, but it wasn't what you expect a Marvel show to be, and I think that's a good thing. I think they need to branch out, but this was an episode of what could be a typical Marvel movie. Okay,
so I guess what I'm having a difficulty with that is we're talking about 2 different roads of character building.
Well, I mean, in WandaVision, you're dealing with grief
and depression.
I'm not saying, but which is very not Marvel. There's not a ton of that in Marvel. Yes, you have people being upset over somebody dying, but this was legitimately how somebody deals. This is how a superhero deals with extreme grief and the loss of a loved one.
What about Star-Lord? He gets kidnapped as his mom dies in the hospital, and there's not some turmoil there that he's dealing with the entire time.
I guess that would be the closest to it, but that was executed in typical Marvel fashion. WandaVision was not. It broke it down and made it much more real and much more sad and deeper. Because Marvel is good at a lot of things, and now I think they're good at this, but they've been action with tinges of comedy. Sometimes you have some deeper meaning, but I feel like diving into this depth of grief was...
Who directed it?
I don't know. I'm sure it was a couple different people. They typically... But do you get what I'm saying? Where this was back to the Marvel that we know.
Okay, yes. And I also think that has to do with gender, because when you're dealing with a masculine character, they're going to want to see them running and jumping and kicking ass.
Okay.
When it's a female character, it's taken a different road. They did it very subtly with her.
I enjoyed it.
And they moved very slowly into her depression and how she was really feeling.
That's also something they can do because it is episodic and there's more time.
Right. And they're going to have more episodes.
Which, now that we watch Falcon and the Winter Soldier, you're obviously diving more in depths of somebody dealing with PTSD. With the Winter Soldier, because he's obviously having some extreme...
Well, he's trying to atone.
Mm-hmm.
and trying to kind of walk back a lot of the things that he did while he didn't have control over what he was doing.
It's kind of cool because I did say at the beginning of this episode, you got a very cool Marvel-esque action sequence.
Yes, you did.
It was excellent.
Yes.
But then it slows down, and now that I'm thinking about it, there's going to be some spoilers. You got somebody dealing with PTSD.
Someone else dealing with depression.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Somebody dealing with suppression, and then something being taken away from a black man and given to a white man.
Oh, for sure.
So, let's
talk about real life.
Yeah, you are dealing with some much deeper issues than the typical Marvel situation. So, I think they're going to get some of that going forward because some of these things can be fleshed out a little bit more, which I appreciate. It makes things more interesting. And it really can expand on some of those things that you would have maybe liked to have seen or didn't even know you would like to have seen. But now that it's coming to light, you're like, okay, this is interesting. Like, I didn't really think I was going to like WandaVision after that first episode as much as I did. I didn't dislike the first episode, but the way
it was radically different than what you are used to.
Yeah, it was unexpected, I would say. Not that I disliked it, but the slow burn of tension. It was so tense.
It was
in
heavy.
Some of those parts, yeah.
As Marty McFly would say.
Yeah, heavy. There's that word again. But this got returned. Oh, man, I yelled out loud when I saw George St. Pierre.
Yes, you did.
Oh, he is. I love that guy. I love that guy. So it was exciting to see Patrick the Leaper back.
Literally leaping.
Yeah, right? We've got some new villain who I'm unfamiliar with, it looks like.
Which is going to be interesting because I'm going to be curious who that actually is.
Oh, we saw Rhodey.
We did see Rhodey.
Always good to see Rhodey.
I was very surprised.
Unsurprised?
No, I was surprised.
Okay.
I was going to say unexpected, and I was like, I shouldn't say that.
You caught yourself?
Yeah.
But I think it was a really good first episode. My only complaint...
What's your
gripe?
gripe?
I said, it dealt with PTSD. It dealt with some depression. You had action. There was a deeper amount of feelings there because it can be fleshed out over 6 hours instead of 2 hours.
Okay.
The only thing I didn't like is the show is called The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and there's only 6 episodes.
And they're not together.
And they weren't together in the whole first episode.
So you don't think he's going to... Because the therapist made a point to say that he wasn't responding to his texts.
Yeah, I like that Bucky and Sam are friends because, yes, they have great chemistry and they've had situations.
They're frenemies.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say they're friends.
But his therapist said you need to talk to your friends, and he's not texting you.
When you only have less than 10 people on your phone, which nobody does anymore.
Do you know as of right now there aren't second seasons planned for any of these shows? They're just one-offs.
Are they just trying to build the bridge until they create some more continuity down the line?
With WandaVision, I think it's going to run straight into Doctor Strange, so I get it. It doesn't need one.
Right.
You can have these...
Her story's going to continue later
Exactly.
on. You
can have these fillers in between movies, especially now since we don't have any movies.
Right.
But at the longer they wait with Black Widow, the less people are going. It's gonna. Well, not the less people are gonna be interested. People will go see it still, but the less it'll be connected to what's going on currently. Because we're supposed to get...
At some point, they're just going to have to release it.
Yeah. Well, movie theaters are opening back up, so... but no, I really liked this first episode. It had some deep moments. I looked forward to this. I enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to next week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that all you have to say about it?
I was going to go on with something else, but then I kind of lost my train of thought.
Uh-oh.
But I'm really looking forward to it, and I'm hoping that they... keep these up and they kind of connect things in the cinematic universe through these shows that they're putting out, because I mean there's a lot more coming out.
Right.
A lot. They have a lot of stuff planned, and it's going to be neat to have these big ones like Spider-Man and Thor and the Guardians, and then slow it down a little bit and let's focus on some of these secondary characters that are just as important, but we can flesh them out on the small screen while pumping them up in the big screen.
Okay.
So I think the future was always bright for Marvel. It'll be interesting to see how they go and where they go and things like that with, Fantastic Four and X-Men and some of these interesting things like that we haven't seen before. Who's going to be the big villain? there's got to be another one.
What, in this, like, for the movies or for this TV show?
Well, I think they're going to all end up being connected, right? Everything's connected for Marvel.
Galactus.
Could be Galactus. You could get a
dude eating planets.
Mr. Sinister. You could get a, how big is Doctor Doom? But they have to be, I know it's formula. It's part of a formula. I can't say that other word.
They have a bigger plan ahead.
But it's got to be somebody bigger than Thanos.
Does it have to?
It has to build up to that. You can have secondary, or you can have a couple of villains that connect the thing, like a Doctor Doom and a Magneto. But they've been done before. I feel like Marvel knows that they can make something big out of nothing, like Guardians.
Okay.
So I'm interested to see what they can do. But I'm looking forward to next week. I really enjoyed this.
I did too.
Yeah, it was good.
There was minimal talkage. It was nice.
Talkage. Yes, there was minimal.
Well, for my kids,
and
that's what I mean.
I really like Sebastian Stan and
I do
Anthony
too.
Mackie. I'm a big fan of Anthony Mackie. I think he's
very charismatic.
He is, and he seems like I've seen him in long form interviews, like podcasts and stuff. And
it's in his face. It's not just.
He's very expressive. He seems very genuine.
Yes,
and I appreciate that. I think it shines through in the character.
Moon stuff.
Yeah, but moon stuff.
That was a good line.
He was so hurt at the end of that episode.
Oh yeah,
that's
for sure.
That's gonna be interesting
because he didn't have to.
No, and we'll let you discover that on your own. But our next episode is going to be 2 Oscar nominees for this upcoming year. We have a handful of ones that we want to watch.
What, like all of them?
Yeah, I mean, what is it? The trial of the Chicago 7. Is that what it's called? Minari, Mank. There's a bunch of them on Netflix.
Oh, The Favorite. We never watched that either.
So we're gonna watch a couple of those, and we'll chit chat about that and be more dramatic. But we're gonna record in a couple of days, so we got to go watch one of these movies. So we'll be back, and we appreciate you all listening and sticking with us. All right.